All right.
Tunavites, we are not gone for the season. We didn't get canceled, thankfully, although there were those in our league who wanted to cancel us. So I will not name their names. They shall remain nameless. Okay. Captain Insano, stay off of us. Actually, we want you back, Captain Insano. Come back. We want to know what happened to the rest of your actual story. So, but anyways, yeah, Tunavites, we're here. Richard and I, we're going to discuss last several weeks that we've been out and just where things stand as we go into the last week of the regular season and the playoffs. So, Richard, what's up?
What's up, man? Long time no see, long time no talk. We took a little bit of a hiatus, kind of licked our wounds, I think, for a few weeks. But we, also life life is important. So we went through being able to get through all that, and now we're here. We get to kind of recap where we left off and tell everybody kind of what's happening.
Yeah, man. It's we were trying to make it happen and it didn't. But the one thing I guess I will say, Richard, is that I guess our ratings are down because nobody was clamoring for Tuna Buzz. So I guess they got tired of us. But I'm sorry to say we're still here. So if you want to watch, we're going to talk about our league and you will like it. No. So anyways, it's good to get back and kind of discuss big things are happening in our league and just this year as the crazy year winds down and get ready for the playoff teams and just to take a look at that. So Richard, what are your thoughts on just the last, I guess really 4 weeks from the trade deadline to where we're kind of things stand now? What are some things that stick out to you?
I think we were talking briefly about the trades, and there's a lot of trades that happened kind of right at the trade deadline. That was interesting and fun. That was fun to watch. Next year, we're going to do an end of the year show after the crown is won by whoever, PC. And then we're going to, I think at that point, we can look at next year and look at what the draft is going to look like. Because there was a lot of players that got traded, but also draft picks. So I think that's going to be, I think those things stood out as far as trades. As far as the playoffs, man, it's been super interesting and how it's been working out because there was half the league still potentially in it. I think I had the most outside chance, just like me arriving in Lake Placid tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. is how close of a chance I had. It was terrible. It was like 0.02% or something like that. It was crazy.
Saying there's a chance.
And then Reid had to go and ruin it. No, a 92 score versus a 97 score. Reid not ruin it. It's Derrick Henry not doing anything. So it's what ruined it. But also Jonathan just has a great team and he's able to outscore me and do really well. So even though I beat him, I want to point out that I evened it up this season. We went 1-1. But oh well. It is what it is. But Donald had to beat me with Keenan Allen going nuts. That week he went nuts. I cried. But that's okay. But no, I think this coming up, we're going to be looking at the playoff outlook for this week, and there's quite a few people on the bubble that can to get in. There's win and in. There's 2 that are already set, ready to go. Don't need to worry about this week at all, which is great for those 2 guys. And you want to get into it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's roll into it. I'll just touch on the trading, and I know we'll kind of do a recap of the season. And but I think one of the things, just quick, because a lot of stuff did happen within those couple weeks. We weren't really doing the shows. I think when we kind of signed off or took our little break, we had made some changes and trading was kind of in full gear. I would just say that I ended up being right on my over 10 for trading. I was helped a little bit, I will say that, by our changes, but I just had to get that in there. I mean, maybe the only thing I got right in all of 2020 season, but hey, I'll take it. No, I think changing to doing instant trading I think that was, that was a big kind of shift for us. And I think that helped people to be able just to get trades faster. I mean, if you think about our old process of doing it, you had to think about the Thursday night games. You had to think about, all these, hey, could I get this player? When can I get him? I think that made a huge difference and a help to people. And the deadline deals, that was fun because then you could actually make like, hey, let's, we're against the clock, like in real NFL, what kind of trades you could make. And so I think it benefited everybody. I mean, I think everyone was pretty happy with it. So
yeah, no, I really appreciate having it. I thought it was great because the benefit of it too was, for instance, not that it had like anything happened, but it was like when, like for myself, I was able to get Derrick Henry. I was able to get my brain went blank. Who else was I able to get?
In France, Richard.
I was able to get those guys, almost instantaneously, and it's nice to be able to then, still be in the running. But if somebody came and said, "Hey, I really want Hopkins. Here's something that makes your team better," it would have been just as instantaneous, and it was just that was nice to have kind of like those tools, those trinkets available to me. So I really appreciate being able to do that personally.
Yeah, I think that was cool. I think one thing we'll probably do next year, as we kind of learned in doing kind of just with even the instant trading and just the deadline, is that we'll probably make sure that it's probably like on a Tuesday or something, because we had the whole somebody played on Thursday, but then the trade deadline was Saturday or whatever originally, and so then that is kind of an issue. So I think in next year, whenever our deadline is, we'll probably do like a Tuesday or something, so that way all the games are theoretically played, and then that week you can just have one day to kind of make a trade. And actually I think it'll make it pretty fun, because then you come off a week and it's just like that one Tuesday before you do any waiver wire, just here's your last like day to do it, deadline. So I think that probably will be something that we just make sure we put that date on there for next year.
Yeah.
So all right, well let's get into the league. What's going on?
All right, man. Well, like we said, there's a few people that are on the bubble. There's a few people that are in. Let's start off with the king of the league so far with his 0 losses, and that's PC. He's had it locked up for a few weeks now, obviously, with his 13-0. I mean, he's just been steamrolling everywhere. He just will not. He scored 180 plus points this week. I mean, there's no sign of stopping. I think with our end of the year season, we're probably gonna recap, most valuable players and that kind of thing. And I think I think we're going to be mentioning some players from PC's team specifically because picking up James Robinson, for instance, was just difference maker for him. I mean, it was just it's just one of those players. It's just like that every season it is, and you just got to kind of almost guess which one it's going to be. And I mean, PC's been doing great having that guy on his team and being able to just continue to be 13-0 because of it. And then the second team, Jonathan was able to lock up this week. He didn't have it completely secured because there was an outside chance, like I said, that I could win it, but losing this week for me and him winning this week sealed the deal, and he's going to be in. Right now, it looks like he's going to be the second seed. It's feasible that if he loses this week and Dwayne wins, that he could be third seed. We'll see how that goes. But either case, he's probably going to play the third seed. He's going to be the matchup of the third and the second seed. So we'll see how that goes and move forward. As far as the people on the bubble, Reid, we were kind of going to walk him through this. I'd like to start with the Southern Division, and then we can go. We'll jump back to Donald.
Okay. Well, can I just comment a little bit on PC's team?
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. I should let you.
Yeah.
Let you
No, no, it's all good, Richard. It's not like it's like midnight or something where you're at. So, um, no, I would just say this. I think putting in perspective, and I know like once, depending on how he finishes, we'll have a lot of time, to talk and a recap about his season. But we have, it's been for our league and honestly, all the other leagues that I've ever played in. I mean, this is a historic season. I, for one, have never seen somebody do an undefeated season, period. I mean, even regular season. At worst, and I was looking back at some of these things, and you were looking even before we got on at some of the records and different things that he could break and make for next, in the record book. But at worst, if he loses this week, he'll be tied. I believe there was a season. I think so. I think there was a 13-1 season. I believe I have to go back and look, but I think somebody went 13-1 one season in the regular season. So at worst, he's going to finish tied for like the best regular season ever. At best, obviously nobody's gone undefeated completely, or even just in the regular season. And I mean, being 13-0, I mean, that's just. I mean, you think about, Richard, all the injuries that have happened to so many teams, and then just COVID and just different things. I mean, the fact that he's doing it this year, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And, there's nothing. I mean, he's been steamrolling people, as you mentioned. The only team in terms of just when you look at the talent, like who he has for this year and the guys he's got, the only team that comes to mind for me as far as like maybe just, best teams that you saw in the season was the year that Josh had a stacked team. And this is probably better if he listens to it, because he got upset in the playoffs but I'll just put it for this, Tunavites, because if you forget, I'll never forget this, because Josh had, until this season with PC, I always, when I think back to our like past years, as far as like somebody who just had a dominant team, Josh was always one that came to mind. And he had guys like, I mean, that was the year I think that Brady had that, he had Welker, it was record breaking, and Josh had like Welker, Brady, I think LT, and he had, I'm trying to think, it was like Marion. Do you remember? What's that guy that running back for the Cowboys? I don't know. He had him. I think he had like Kellen Winslow, Braylon Edwards for the Browns when they had a great year. That I think, so it was like all these guys with like career years and just studs. And I remember that year he was just killing people, and he didn't go undefeated in the regular season. I think he had like one loss, maybe two losses or something. But he was just destroying people, and he, for all intents and purposes, was going to win the league. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, everybody was healthy. His guys were just dominating. And then unfortunately for him, he had in the first round of the playoffs, I don't remember who he played, but he had a bunch of guys that were involved in snow games. And so then he just like, you know how that is. Yeah, it was just a dud game, and he ended up losing. But that's a team I think about. I think in our league, I think about when I just go back to a team that I just thought, man, they were so dominant. That's who I think about when I think about PC's team this year. So we'll see if PC can, obviously finish, not just go undefeated, but finish the deal and win the championship. But just incredible. I'm excited just to watch, like from and we're going to talk playoffs and divisions right now. But I'm excited just to, see if anybody can take him down in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know what kind of holy water you guys are drinking over there at First Presbyterian, but the last three seasons, 17, 18, and 19, has been won by you and PC, and then now PC is doing really well this year. So, I don't know what's going on. It's not fair. It's not fair that you have God on your side. It's just you're cheating.
What can I say, Richard? You're a conspiracy theory, right?
Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Donald first. I changed my mind. Let's talk about Donald real quick. Okay. Donald is easy. It's easy to say what's going to happen with him if he wins this week against Aaron. Right? He plays Aaron. I'm trying to remember.
Yes, he plays Aaron.
He wins again. If he wins this week against Aaron, he's in. He's a winning in, locked and loaded, wild card spot. He's going to play PC next, the week after this week, if he wins this week. So, however, if you go down to the Southern Division, there's 3 guys that are knocking at his door that could potentially take that spot away. And when we were talking about this before, I think it'd be best if you kind of break it down for us, Reid. Talk about Dwayne's chances and what needs to happen with him in order to get to the playoffs.
Well, Dwayne's pretty simple. He had a setback this last week, but if he wins this week, he plays Josh. If he beats Josh, he's in. So, I think, Richard, I will say this. We were, for the most part, PC and Jonathan have been on cruise control. I know you were talking about you had a little bit of chance. Jonathan, for the most part, has just been leading the division there, and then PC is doing his season. So they were kind of like locked in as far as just, that spot. And then it's kind of been like Donald and Dwayne, Donald in the wild card, and then Dwayne in the lead. And then this last week, things took a turn, and really actually gives us some more excitement than I thought we were going to have for the last week.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
But yeah.
Right. Dwayne wins, he's in, and knocks Josh out completely. Now, let's talk about Josh if he wins. What will what's going to happen there?
Yeah, so Josh has to win. He has to beat Dwayne, and then he either has to, either beat Dwayne enough to outscore him. He's down by whatever 20 some odd points, 26 behind him. So, he's got to outscore him by that many, beat him and outscore him by that many, or he has to also catch up with Josh, which he's only down by 11 points or whatever. So, if Donald were to lose, as well, and then, he catches him in points. So it's really a matter of winning and then just making sure he's got enough points to overtake, Dwayne or overtake Donald. So Josh does have a lot in control, in his hands. He's got to win and just score, have a big game. So even though he had this big setback, last week, Richard, of all the things, I'm sorry, Josh, I'm picking on Josh today. I'm not really trying to. I'm getting some sore wounds here, but I love you, Josh. Okay, I wish you would have traded with me this year. Losing to Daryl, that was one of the big upsets of the year. Especially the way Josh was playing. And actually, it's given Nathan huge life for the playoff picture. So, just wow, that's all I can say.
I agree. It's really interesting, because just the Southern Division, there's so much different things that need to happen for each team. It's going to be insane on what needs to happen, or what can happen, and how people can get in, how it's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the scores look like. I've been logging in and I've been looking at scores, and I just haven't been looking at mine. I've been watching what everybody else is doing because I've just been super curious how is the standings turning out. I want to talk about. I didn't freeze there. I just stopped talking. Captain Insano, coming from his crazy waiver wire picks at the beginning of the year, pickups at the beginning of the year, spending all his money, doing his shenanigans and everything, that he has a chance this, at the end of the season, the last game at the end of the year, or at the end of the regular season, is just so cool. I don't know. It's really to see him having an opportunity. He doesn't get to play Dwayne to really seal the deal for himself. So he's got to rely on Josh for that. But the fact that he's able to put himself in that position is really cool. And he's got a couple avenues, right? He's got the avenue of winning the division completely. If Dwayne loses and he wins, he's ahead in points against Dwayne by 100. Dwayne would really have to extremely outscore him in order to make that make that less fair. And I just want to make sure it's division wins in the season, Reid, are after points, or is it before points for tiebreakers?
It is it goes points. So it goes record, then points, and then it
division,
goes.
right?
I believe it's division.
Okay.
I think it's division, and then maybe head to head. I think is then the other tiebreaker comes in maybe or something. This did happen I think a couple of years ago where I I had to go through back and look at like 4 or 5 different tiebreakers. Like what would be and there was like a 5th tiebreaker that was wild if it ever happened, but it didn't happen. But yeah. So I think after points, if they tied in points, I think it goes division, I believe. So division record. But Nathan has had what a crazy season for him. I mean, he was the one team that really got hit with some early season like injuries, guys that were just missing some time. Yep. And then he had some guys that were involved with all the COVID stuff, were missing, got early bye weeks from players, and was really kind of down. And then of course, he started to make that run, and I said I thought he was going to make a run, and he did. He was scoring a lot of points, and then he had some heartbreaking losses to Donald, where he's scoring a ton of points. And then after last week, with Josh losing to Daryl, and then Nathan beating Dwayne, and of course, sorry, Nathan, but Nathan had 2 guys who he didn't switch out that weren't playing. So actually it probably hurts more for Dwayne to hear that he lost. But Nathan just, that's one where you say, because he made that trade, for Waller. Yeah. And last week, that was amazing. And so that's where you say, man, I made a trade and it really made a difference, for me, in a week. So yeah, Nathan, he still needs help. He's got to win, and then either Donald or Dwayne lose, just one of those guys to lose, because he's got the points. So that's all he needs. So
and depending on which one loses is going to come in the third seed or the 4th seed, obviously. So I want to go through the scenario now. So let's say Donald loses and Dwayne loses. And Nathan wins. Nathan will be 3rd seed. Who would be the 4th seed?
The 4th seed, well, that's going to come down to points, because then you're going to have Josh, Donald, and Dwayne, and it's going to be who has the most points between those 3.
Yeah, and Dwayne right now has the upper hand with the most points, right?
Yeah, but it's close. Between all 3 of them, it's like within 30 points.
It's what, 20? No, not even 20.
Within 30. 15? Less than 30 points.
15 to Donald, ahead of Donald. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. 15 ahead of Donald and 25 ahead of Josh. So it's super close. It's entirely feasible for any of these guys to then be the wild card. So yeah,
I hope that happens. Now that you said that, and I'm thinking, man, what if they all have the same record? 3 of them is the points. I hope that just happens. We're all looking at it like, do I have enough points? Do I have enough points?
You heard it here first. Reid wants Donald and Dwayne to lose.
I want to see drama. I just want to see it get down to do I have enough points?
I hope it ties and it goes to more tiebreakers. It just goes deep.
Wait, Richard. Now I need to investigate. When we get off, I need to see what happens if you have 3 teams that all tie with same record, same amount of points. What is the tiebreaker?
We could, it's in our league details. We got to look at that.
I know, but it might take a while to find that, because that's like one of those it might still be division record. I don't know what that's. Well, that's playoff matchup tiebreaker. You need standings tiebreaker.
Standings tiebreaker. Division winner tiebreaker. Ties and standings are resolved in this order: winning percentage, then total point. Ooh, winning percentage. That's okay, obviously. Total point, then head to head.
Okay, head to head. Okay, that makes sense.
And then points against scheduled difficulty. So you almost want points scored for you if it goes down to that depth.
Yeah, that was the thing I had to look up. This happened, yeah, we're a couple years ago. I remember looking like, what is the, and then somebody had asked me, and then I was like, oh, points against, and scheduled it, which that's a good tiebreaker because we can't control how many points are scored against you. So,
Yeah.
um,
What's the head-to-head between those guys? Do you know?
I'm not actually sure. I mean, I guess Nathan and Dwayne, I don't know if they split. I think they maybe split their season series. It would be my guess because Nathan started off slow. So
I know there's a way you can look at your scores for the whole year. How do you do that?
you can go to schedule,
It's here.
Yeah, go to schedule.
All right, let's pull up Encino here. Oh.
Yeah, he lost to Dwayne, beat Dwayne, and then lost to Don.
Dwayne, and then one. So it's going to go past that.
Wait, not Nathan. Sorry, I guess we don't really need to look at Nathan though. We need to look at Josh.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we need to look at Josh, Dwayne, and Donald.
Here's Donald.
Okay.
They went with him quickest.
Yeah. Let's see. He beat.
So he beat Josh.
Yep.
And he beat Dwayne.
No.
So
he's got that.
He's got that. And let's look at Josh or Dwayne.
And they played each other this week, so I guess they could.
So he beat Josh. So it'll be a tie if Josh wins this week.
Wow. How about that?
Crazy. So exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
One thing, Tunavites, we are pretty certain that regardless of what happens with the results this week, if there are some tiebreakers, we do think that it's going to get resolved in a day and not, like a week or two, like the past election or whatever. It's like I think it's going to happen. Then,
What was that season? Hey, do you remember, Reid, that season? Was it a playoff or was it the championship where Monday night games finished? Josh had won, and then stat correction changed it.
I'm glad you brought that up, Richard.
Was that a playoff or was that a championship?
That was a championship game, and I was the victor in that scenario, and that was. Josh especially loves to remember that day.
I thought I'd bring it up. He's one of our biggest fans, so I had to bring. We've been bringing him up a lot this week to really.
Those were in the days that when you would have, because we were doing our defensive teams, so like when you would have and this was in general, so for whatever betting purposes, for just the league and NFL and how they would tabulate different stat changes. The specific stat, what happened for us was forced fumbles, because when you're watching a game, sometimes did that team actually force it, or did the guy just lose the ball? Yeah. And so what happened back then was a lot of defenses, they like the game would play on Thursday or Sunday or whatever, and a lot of times they wouldn't make the actual change until like Tuesday morning for a final score. And so it was one of those things. And I think I had my defense played on a Thursday, and so then I think I lost in a heartbreaker to Josh, on a Monday night game, and it's over. And then the next morning, I got the call. I was like, like, Reid, you won. I was like, yeah. I was like, stop lying to me. And then so which is a terrible way. I mean, honestly, I'm thankful that now we've changed to where we don't have like some like crazy surprise like that. I mean, especially the way our scoring is. I mean, it's I think the only leagues that really happens still is when you have like the point, the point per or whatever kind of leagues where they change certain things. Like I played some others where they make a stat correction or whatever on some yards, but that was the days where that happened, and that was wild because it was a championship game, so that was just crazy.
Yeah. I just remember him not being happy.
He was not happy. Yeah, we didn't talk for a while. It was oh gosh. Man, this show is all about Josh, man. Josh, you're just
we had to pay homage this week.
yeah.
Well, it was all against his misery, though, unfortunately. Hey, Josh, you did win one season, so hey, you have that over me. So, but Reid has 6, but between Reid and I, we have 6 championships between the two of us. That's the way I count it.
Josh, we did talk about your great team. Okay, they were amazing. You didn't win it all, but they were amazing that year, and I was trying to give you some kudos. You had to, and we'll see. You still have hope this year, so maybe it'll be egg on our face if you win the championship, and just we'll bring you on the show, and you can just have at it.
I'd be remiss to point out, I believe Jonathan and I are the last 2. I think we said this at the beginning of the season. Jonathan and I are the last 2 of the original owners to not win a championship. So Jonathan has the opportunity to make me by myself this, So,
yep.
To say that I am rooting for Tum Tum is not a correct statement. I don't want to be by myself.
Oh gosh, that's true. I didn't mention either, Richard, that kind of gotten lost in PC's amazing, like record-breaking seasons. That Jonathan's had one of his best seasons, that he's ever really had. I think. I mean, I don't think he's had a better. I don't think he's had a better season than this. I mean, he's maybe close, but he's had a great season. And
if he had Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I know. He's wanting him back. He needs him back.
He's done it without Christian McCaffrey and having Mostert on the in IR as well. Like that's
Kittle's been hurt for most of the year, so
it truly is like Jonathan did a great job this season. It's been
draft.
We picked him at the beginning of the draft. We said he's going to be hard. And if anything we predicted correctly, it was that. So it's going to be
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, interesting, our predictions. I mean, I guess I did pick Jonathan to win our division. I didn't pick PC to win his. I was way off on that division. And, I think I know we were deciding between Nathan and Dwayne. I think I went with Dwayne. So we'll see how that works out, so for that division. But, it's, for a lot of guys, it's been a miserable season. And I mean, not just, hey, it was bad, but, this year's just been wild, and but it's going to be exciting for the finish here in the playoffs, and we're going to actually, from what appears to actually finish the season, because we didn't even know if we were going to get to a point where we could actually, have a season where we can finish. So it's nearing its end. So. Thankfully. Oh man. Richard, I'm ready for my season to be over. I don't know about you, but
after this past week, I am too.
It's pretty bad when you log in and you're like, man, I'm tired of looking at my team. Like I just want to watch the playoffs. Can we just watch the playoffs? Like, oh gosh. Oh man. So, all right. Well, we'll Richard, when we come back next week, we'll be talking about our playoff picture and the playoff teams and our predictions. Some big time predictions, and so I'm excited, looking forward to that, and I'm sure there will be, between Donald, Dwayne, Josh, and Nathan this week, man, it's going to be a nerve-wracking week for them. So
yeah, that's going to be great. I'm excited.
Yes. I'm just going to sit back and just watch, because
that's all we can do.
yeah, their teams. I mean, I don't really like to look at my team, so I'll watch their team. So, all right. Well, Tunavites, it's been good to get back with you. Hopefully you guys can tune in and, just back with us. So anyways, best of luck to you guys that are in the playoff fight this week, and looking forward to talking about it next week.
Yep. See ya.
See you guys.